Welcome back, everyone. This is Dave from Corman Productions here to talk about Star Trek Picard, Season 3, Episode 4, No-Win Scenario. The episode's description reads as follows. Picard, Riker, and crew must confront the sins of their past as the Titan drifts helplessly in a mysterious space anomaly. The episode was once again directed by Jonathan Frakes, and the episode was written by Terry Matalas and Sean Tretta. Before going any further, I will tell you a couple of things. One, this is not a spoiler-free video, so if you haven't watched the episode, I highly recommend you do so, and then come back and watch my video. Secondly, if you like this video and want to support the channel, please feel free to like, share, and comment, as well as subscribing to my channel. Terry Matalas has said that Star Trek 3 is his favorite of the Trek movies, but for the last 3 episodes, we have been paying homage to the beats of Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. The title of this episode, No-Win Scenario, was a concept that originated in that movie. First with the Kobayashi Maru simulation, which was a test that is designed to be unwinnable, to test your character and make you face the idea of death. It's a scenario that Captain Kirk never accepted, so he cheated on the test, which we got to see in the rebooted 2009 Star Trek movie. In that case, played by Chris Pine and not William Shatner. He faced death in Star Trek II for the first time, and only won at the cost of his best friend in Spock, who sacrificed his life to save the Enterprise and that of his friends. Riker and the crew of the Titan are faced with a no-win scenario. The Titan is dead and drifting towards the center of an anomaly. Riker is taking away power from other symptoms, putting it towards life support to perhaps buy them a few hours. Perhaps a few hours in which to come up with a way to cheat death. But Riker doesn't seem to think so. He seems to think that they're all going to die. He goes to Picard, who he kicked off the bridge, and told him that he killed them all and makes amends. He tells him that nothing about his adventures in space have ever proven to him that there's anything after death. This darkness in him is brought on by the trauma of having lost his son. The darkness that Deanna, his wife, could sense. And the reason he took the opportunity to go on the adventure with Picard was to avoid this. Was to get away from his wife and his kid. To take the darkness away from them. Even though, to some extent, I'm sure they were experiencing that themselves. Riker seems to believe that this is the end of the adventure. That Picard should settle up his affairs and get to know his son. Great acting from Frakes in this opening scene. Best acting I've actually ever seen from him. We get flashback scenes to Picard talking to some cadets when he's trying to eat his food. This proves to be more than meets the eye, as in the crowd, in the background, is his son, Jack Crusher, unknowns to him. He's there trying to get to know the man. He asks the question, do you have family life in Starfleet? And Picard responds that Starfleet is the only family he would ever need. This is what convinced Jack not to pursue a relationship with the man, partly out of hurt by what Picard said, and maybe out of fear of being hurt more. This of course means that Jack knew who he was as soon as he saw him that first time in the first episode of this season. They have scenes at the 10 forward on Earth on the holodeck. Picard's explanation of why this is working when the rest of the ship isn't is that it has an independent power source so that in times of distress, like this one, there can be a place of sanctuary. This idea is kind of silly, but sort of explains why we've seen this on Trek before. And then Liam Shaw, who's alive after his injuries in the last episode, but not back to active duty for some strange reason, enters the scene to throw some cold water on this moment, this touching moment, by revealing why exactly he has a problem with Picard. And it's because he was at Wolf 359 when Picard was Locutus. He was a young officer and was saved by a senior officer despite not feeling like he deserved that. He goes off on Picard here, but that doesn't stop the two of them from working together to potentially save all of their lives later. And that's something I rather appreciate about these scenes. Shaw is fun in his few scenes in this episode, bouncing off Seven as they come to a sort of understanding. Seven is tasked with finding the Changeling. While talking to Shaw, we get our second Odo reference in a row. Seven eventually figuring out who the Changeling is when it shows up to try and stop Shaw and Seven from completing their task, she does this by using the very advice that Shaw gave her earlier in the episode. The episode comes to a conclusion. The solution comes from Beverly Crusher, of all people, in very lovely fashion, in a very Star Trekian way that has been sorely missed with modern Trek. That sense of wondering, of exploring new worlds. No sign of Worf or Raffi this week. The action is all on the ship, and that's very much to the show's favor. Gotta say I don't particularly care for the new changeling effect, though I suppose it makes more sense than the DS9 version. This season is 4 for 4 so far, definitely outclassing the previous seasons. The next video may or may not be a bit delayed, as I will be in Seattle visiting my mom during the airing of the next episode, though I'm not ruling out trying to squeeze it in while I'm down there. If you like this video and want to support the channel, there are a number of ways to do so. You can follow me on Twitter at Core Productions. You can join my Core Productions Facebook page. You can buy something from the Core Productions store on Zazzle. You can buy me a coffee, which is a new way to support content creators such as myself. And of course, you can like, share, and comment on this video, as well as subscribing to my channel. This is Dave from Core Productions, signing off.